be learning how to solve a one-step inequality and graph on a number line. So let's take a look at our first two problems. So we're going to treat these the same as we were when we were solving equations, where our end goal is to get x by itself. So whatever's next to x, we will get rid of. So since we have a negative 16 on this side, we're going to add 16 on both sides. That's going to give me x, bring down the symbol, less than or equal to 40. With a number line, we'll put 40. Get more math, will automatically move that down for you on the system. And then we're going to use a filled-in circle for the equal sign, and the arrow is pointing left, so less than 40 would go to the left. So to get rid of this 6, that's a positive 6, we would subtract 6 to both sides of the inequality. Bring down the x, bring down the less than sign, and the answer would be x is less than 7. We would put an open circle on 7 because we're not including 7 in the solution. 7 is just the boundary. And less than 7 would go to the left, and notice the arrow is pointing left. These next two problems, the variable is on the right. I'm still going to follow my procedures of getting rid of the number that's next to the x, so I'm going to add 15 to both sides. And that comes out to 34. Keep the symbol the same, and x. A good practice is to put your variable on the left-hand side, switch the inequality to go with it. That way when we graph it, we can use the arrow pointing to the right. So we're going to put a closed circle for the equal sign because we're including 34 in our solution set. And the arrow is pointing right, and you read this as x is greater than or equal to 34. Those numbers would be to the right of 34. In this problem, we would get rid of this positive 18 by subtracting 18. You always do the opposite. So you bring down the 5, you bring down this symbol, you bring down the x. Good practice, move your x to the left. Switch that inequality symbol to match it. An open circle on the 5 because there's no equal sign. And x is greater than 5, and the arrow is pointing to the right. So we will shade the number line to the right because 6, 7, 8, 9, all the way to infinity is bigger than 5. Now we move into problems where we have the number attached to x, which is 5 times x. In order to get rid of that 5, to get x by itself, we do the opposite of multiplication, which is to divide by 5. So x, bring down the symbol. 15 divided by 5 is 3. My variable's on the left, so that's good. I'm going to put a closed circle on the 3 because we have an equal sign. And then we're going to shade to the right because the arrow is pointing right, and you read this as x is greater than or equal to 3. For this problem, we're going to divide by 7. So x is greater than or equal to, now we're going to make 20 over 7. We'll make that a mixed number. So 7 goes into 20 twice, and that would be 14 with a difference of 6, so 2 and 6/7. Then, for our graph, we close the circle, and the arrow is pointing right. We shade to the right. Numbers get bigger as they go to the right. For this next part, anytime you multiply or divide by a negative number, you need to flip the inequality symbol. In this problem, the number that I'm dividing by is negative 2 on both sides. That'll cancel the negative 2. You get x. Negative 4 divided by negative 2 is 2. However, it's very important to understand that when you divide or multiply by a negative number, you flip that symbol around. Now, for our answer, we will fill the circle in, and it's pointing left for less than, so we will shade left. In this problem, we're also dividing by a negative 6. And when we divide by a negative number to solve the problem, We flip that symbol around. And now that's x greater than 7, so it's an open circle because it's not included. There's no equal sign. And we shade to the right. The arrow's pointing right for greater than. Now we get into some problems where we have to multiply to solve. Since this is x divided by 8, in order to get rid of the 8, we would multiply by 8 on both sides. Since I'm multiplying by a positive number, there's no need to flip the sign. This number is not the number you look at to determine whether you flip the sign. It's whether or not the number you're multiplying or dividing on both sides is negative. So in this case, we don't have to flip the sign. The answer is negative 40 on this side, negative 5 times 8. We will put an open circle on negative 40, and the arrow is going right. We would shade to the right. In this problem, to solve for x, we need to multiply by 5. Once again, that number is positive, so we don't have to flip the symbol. So this would be negative 45. Keep the symbol exactly the same. The x is on the right. Good practice, though, to flip the x back to the other side. Flip the symbol with it. Flipping the symbol here, not to be confused with flipping it because we're multiplying or dividing by a negative. We're moving this symbol now just to move our variable to the other side and our number to the right. Now when we graph, we can use the arrow pointing right to help us with our graph. Pointing right, greater than or equal to. Closed circle because it has an equal sign. In our last two problems, we have a negative sign out in front of our x divided by 3. We do need to cancel that negative sign. So we are going to multiply by 3 to get rid of the 3, and we also have to multiply by a negative to cancel that negative. So we're going to be multiplying by negative 3 on both sides. And just like when you're dividing by a negative number, if we are multiplying by a negative number on both sides, we have to flip that symbol around. So this symbol that is greater than becomes less than. And this on this side is 6 times negative 3, negative 18. That's going to be an open circle on negative 18, and the arrow is pointing left for less than. In this problem, it's the same thing. We have x over 3, and we also have a negative. So we have to multiply by negative 3 on both sides. Multiplying by a negative number will cause us to make that greater than sign a less than, and this is negative 6 on this side. That will give me an open circle and shade to the left. So, keep in mind, when you multiply or divide by a negative number, you need to flip that inequality sign around.